behind each other?
Social media, Facebook.
So who did what first? I mean, how did you like
Well,
when you saw her on Facebook?
Yeah, I saw her on Facebook.
So when you saw her, what made you say, you know what, I want to speak to this person. I want this person to be in my life. Like, what attracted you to her?
That's funny because when I first seen her, I was already in a relationship before when I first seen her, and I was following I guess her page. Somebody recommended it. I had like a lot of friends on, so they liked her page, and I went on her page, and then one day I think in the spring of last year, 2019, I was looking at her video, or somebody reposted her video, and I was just watching her speak, and I was like, okay, she cool, like she real for that, you know. And I didn't really think much of it. And as time went on, and my past relationship had ended, and literally, like, it's almost funny because within weeks after that, mind you, I noticed her back in months ago. So fast forward in the fall, our relationship is over. You know, I'm kind of resetting my life, and boom, all of a sudden,
I messaged you.
She hit me up, and we've been talking ever since. Like literally, ever since we
I
was
think
talking.
we talked Messenger for like 3 days or something, and then you was like, "Can I call you?" And then you called me, and I was surprised because nobody ever called me that early in the morning.
Right.
So then, as soon as we started talking, it was deep from the beginning. We started diving so deep that it just it put me in the position of, okay, who is this person to me? Is this my friend? Is this going to be an interest? And initially, it was like clarity that it wasn't going to be like love interest. So it was like, okay, what do I have to do to be a good friend to this person? Because I started to value more and more of that aspect of who we were building ourselves to be for each other. And I think doing that just kind of made it inevitable for us to get right here.
So what made you decide, like, this is the one for me?
I go first. And this is what I had to learn. She taught me this. When a woman creates a safe space for a man to be himself and to be open and honest with himself, automatically that sets the tone for the guy. Because for me, that set the tone for me. Like, she created a safe space for me to talk to her. I can pretty much tell her whatever, and I have to feel like I have to put on a guard or feel like I have to hide something from her now. Like, she was just like, look, just be yourself. Like, I'm not here to judge you. You can, you know, speak your emotions and not feel like you're too emotional as a dude or whatever. And I'm a Pisces. I'm sensitive to certain things. I'm a water sign. I'm sensitive. So that's to understand my sensitivities are important to me. And her being her, she kind of understood that, and that helped. It has made me, like, my heart grow for her. You know what I'm saying?
Forgive me.
No, you good.
I think one of the biggest traits that attracted me was his honesty. And I guess me creating a safe space, he just went for it, and he was honest, even if it was something I didn't want to hear. So that kind of made me feel my own sense of security and safety in our relationship. So I just knew, like, he's not going to try to drag me in spaces to make him feel comfortable. He's just going to give it to me straight. And that allowed me to make the decision on what I wanted to do going forward. So I appreciated his honesty and transparency.
Or so, like, what sets you apart where others could look at you and say, okay, you know what, I wouldn't be like them?
Stand on your square, like, be who you are. That's the biggest thing. I think if anything we say is be who you are, be your authentic self. Like, be her thing. She told me when I was talking to her was stay true. Like, stay true to who you are. Like, staying true to who you are is what helps to attract what you want. You know what I mean? And what you need, exactly. Because everybody out here can be phony, especially nowadays with social media and things like that. It's so easy to be phony and to be whoever you want. But when all that falls, who are you really? And so her thing and our thing was like, stay true to yourself, like stay true to you, because you're only going to attract it. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Who you are is going to attract what you want and what you need. And so that's where our foundation was built off of from the beginning, was staying true to who we were, not trying to shift it, Not trying to be impressionable. Just be who you are. Be you. Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
I was gonna add something to the last question. He's a good listener, and I appreciate that because a lot of, I'm not even gonna say a lot. I'm not gonna generalize. There are some not good listeners out there. Yeah, he's a good listener, and I appreciated that because I wouldn't have to, rebuttal and say a whole bunch of stuff. Like I could say things one time, and that's it. I appreciate that.
Trust often is the breaking point for many relationships, and also trust is a very difficult hurdle for a lot of people to come, into a relationship. However, due to their past relationship, trust was the main issue why they broke up. And so how do you two get into a relationship? So how do you guys define trust? And how do you come to that bridge where you guys are comfortable with each other, where you don't have to worry about this or that? So how does trust define your relationship?
I think that goes back to how we started. We started as friends. We got so close to where, we feel each other. Like if something's wrong with me, he knows it. If something wrong with him, I know it. And then we got into a space where we decided to take it to the next level, and we both hold it sacred. We really, cherish it, we protect it, and with that, it's like a comfort knowing that we mirror each other. We mirror the same vision for what we're building. So I say this relationship is the first time I've ever felt this safe, and like this, bonded with someone. And I don't have to ask him. Like in the beginning, of course, we went through our things where we spoke on what we like and don't like, but at this point, it's just that soulmate thing is real. That's what it feels
like. How do you guys balance your personal needs without affecting the other person?
Easy. We both productive naturally anyway. Like, we're not all up in each other's faces all the time. We mostly just communicate on a consistent basis, but we're not dependent on the other person's energy. It's like, well, I got this to do, I got that to do. I'm productive my damn self, so, and she's productive for herself, so there's no need to really do all that. If you're productive and you really trust yourself to do what you have to do, and then let everything else just flow. And we got into a flow where like, I'm gonna do my thing and she gonna do her thing in terms of her business, in terms of my business and what I do, my lifestyle, and we'll meet in the middle and we'll catch up about what we're doing and we'll build off of that instead of just
give advice.
Right.
And
exactly.
so he does a lot of helping that came organically to my business, and then I help him. We give suggestions. We kind of put ourselves in each other's shoes, and we just help. It just comes so naturally. We don't really think about it. It just happens. So.
That's where, like, how do you guys balance your relationship with the relationship to friends and family that you guys have?
Well, our dynamic is different because we're long distance right now. So I feel like daily we provide space for our lives to happen, and we always seem to just catch up, whether it's small things throughout the day, and then at the end of the day we have a meaty conversation, and that's it. And I've been making my way to see him because I want to be around him, wanted to feel his energy, and he wanted to feel the same thing, and it just kind of worked. There's really no force going on. It's just kind of fluid, and my family knows about him, so that's just how it happened.
What are the best things that you guys like about each other?
Just being myself. I think, and I know it sounds vague when I say that, but like, literally being myself. Like, you know how you people say, I bet you you home by yourself and you sing in the shower and do all these things. You wouldn't do that if people was around.
Right.
But for her, I do exactly what I do behind closed doors. And my goofy self, my funny self, whatever self I am, I'll be in front of her. Like, I don't lie to myself in front of her. Like, I just be myself, literally.
Yeah.
And she just takes it like, all right, that's him. That's what I'm going to do. All right, that's what and I let her have it. Like, this is what it is. Because I'd rather have it that way than me shield the part of myself from her. Because at the end of the day, we're coming together to do spiritual work. And in order to do that, we have to be our authentic self and stand on our square and be and we are in our own power. And express that honestly and truthfully every day. You see? And so that's how we able to function so easy. That's why she said it's so natural, because it's just, this is who we always wanted to be in a relationship, but we never had the right space to be in to do it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when you're in the right space with that right person, everything you always wanted to do and be becomes so natural and easy that it's like,
You kind of discover a new side of yourself,
Right.
and that's what makes it refreshing. That's my favorite thing. It's like a new discovery. I keep telling me, this is new, this is new, this is new. Even the hard stuff, it's new. But when we recover from whatever it is, it's like, oh man, I didn't expect that. So, hardships are different, because I always tell them, it feels like we're holding hands through everything. So that's new for me, and I appreciate, just the way he loves me. He loves me without holding back, and it makes me do the same.
Having each other in your lives really define what love is really all about.
Yeah, I would say, because there's things about the way I love myself that's changed. I feel like there's a lot of things in my past that used to make me kind of hard, made me more of my masculine side, because I felt like I always had to protect myself and protect the things around me. And I can be vulnerable now. I can be more feminine. I could, love on me while he's loving on me too. And it makes me love him more. It makes me love him better. So, yeah, I definitely feel a lot of aspects of love vibrating here.
Wow. So how do you feel?
After what she just said, I don't know how I feel now. That's exactly how I feel. It's happy. Yeah.
So everybody's not always gel together. So what are the complete opposite, where it's just like, you know what, but I still love you?
Oh, man. Oh, the way...
Not good.
Sometimes his snacking, it gets on my nerves, I'm not gonna lie. When he's popcorn, it's annoying, but I love him.
For me, she could be dramatic sometimes. Sometimes she deserves an Oscar. But it's like, all right, it's one of them things. She's passionate and whatever she say, and I let her be her. I'm like, all right, that's who she is, whatever. And it is what it is. I let her be what it is.
And I think that's the core reason why, you guys are compatible, because you guys can tolerate the good and the bad. And I think that's so important, because if you can't take the bad, then you're not really loving that person. So you gotta love them in every which way they can, through their faults, through their imperfections. And I believe that a person's imperfection is what makes them so unique.
That's true. That's true. I think that part also made me embrace him more, because he doesn't try to be smooth. He don't try to be cool and all that extra stuff, because that pushes me away, to be honest. And I mean, look at me. He's very handsome and very, stoic. But then when he let me see the other side, I'm like, oh, like it made me fall for him more. I'm like, you're not trying to be a thing. Like, you just are.
So what advice do you give a lot of women who wants to be in your shoes, or who are trying to look for Mr. Right, or looking for that guy? What is your advice to a lot of women of all ages?
Personally, my journey was a lot of self-healing first. When I stopped looking, when I stopped caring about someone completing me, that's when he came. When I was looking and trying to be in something, it was a lot of flops, and it was a lot of unnecessary pain, a lot of unnecessary drama. But once I just said, forget it, I'm gonna focus on myself. I'm tired of feeling this way, and I just dealt with myself. Everything just flowed after that. I was a magnet to my blessings. So I would definitely recommend self-love over everything.
I could not agree with you 1,010%.
Yep, that's key.
What advice do you give to a lot of men who are looking for Mrs. Right?
I think as guys, we gotta be honest with ourselves and who we are. That's number one. Like, you gotta be honest in who you are. Number one. Number two, focus on what you're doing. If that's what you do, don't get distracted. Focus. Refocus. Like I said, I had to come out of a relationship that was not for me before I even got to even talk to her. I had to really be, like when I put my foot down with myself, that's when we started talking. I had to finally be fed up with my own BS. Like, as men, we gotta be fed up with our own bullshit. You know, to be honest, be frank with you. Like, we gotta be fed up with our own BS before we can even meet that woman that we want. Because at the end of the day, eventually, she want to see through it anyway. After a while, because of who they are as women, they're very observant as who they are, and so she want to see it anyway. So you might as well just put your foot down with yourself and be who you are. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your flaws, what you got to work on. You know, not having too much pride in certain things. Learn how to let things go. Let it be what it be, and then just live your life. Do what you got to do, and all these type of things is going to help create the atmosphere where you can be around that female, because in her nature, how she is, she's about security and safety. So if you're not secure in yourself, she's never going to feel secure with you at all. You see what I'm saying? And so you got to be secure within yourself first. And once she see that security, no matter what happens, bad or good, she's going to feel secure because she know that you're secure in yourself. You know, so being a leader in yourself.
I definitely share your sentiment and your passion about loving yourself first before you can pursue a relationship. Because if you can't love yourself, if you have all that baggage, no one wants to be a part of that. And
you also attract, people who won't love you right. And you'll set a standard too low, and they'll come in and they'll just, they'll come in your house with dirty shoes and not think nothing of it, And I feel like when I rose my standard up and, somebody came around like, okay, I'm like, oh, okay. And I started feeling myself and really stepping up and being the vision of the woman that I wanted to be, and not pretending and not, there was times in our relationship where spiritually I had to discipline myself in ways that I never done before. We just spoke about it where he didn't even know that, it was that big for me. It was times where I'm like, babe, I need some time to myself. And it was so hard for me. So hard, because I'm used to, I've had a passive dependency, and I need that attention. I need to be up under someone, but I had to test myself and trust my spirit and go in those spaces that were uncomfortable to know how strong I was and know that I could stand by myself to be a better, partner.
great. That's want to just give a message about relationships and what it's like to be in a relationship and what they should do, or not what they should do, but more or less what they should aspire to do.
That's cool. That's a good.
Especially in the day of internet.
Yeah.
You know what? I got one thing to say. Be careful of the spotlight and people who are attracted to the spotlight, because it's all smoke and mirrors. So one thing with me that made me cry one day, he pushes me in front of him. Like, he's so talented. He has so much going for him. But there's spaces where he'll put me in the front. Like, look at her. He's so proud. I've never had that before. So, somebody that makes you feel like you're shining in your brightest light even when you don't feel that way, that's a whole other vibe, So when you're not able to love yourself, a certain level that you need, and you have someone to step up and remind you of who you are, that's very important.
I agree.
Friendship is everything.
Yes, it is.
Everything. This is my best friend. I can say before anything.
No, for real. And when I would hear that in the past, I could never understand. I'm like, how can she be your best friend? She can't really be your best friend, but it's real. It's like, man, I can't even explain it, yo. Like, it's a rare thing when you can look at your opposite, who sits in front of you, and be like, that's my bet. Like, I can only talk to that person about the most intricate things within myself and feel safe. Because people will do that. They use it against you. They use it against you.
Yeah.
For those who might be watching and you're saying, well, your opposite sex is your best friend, but they might be saying, well, what about your same-sex friends who could be your best friend?
Okay.
So how they two differ, explain it to somebody who might be looking at it.
I would feel like it's an energy thing. Once you romantically intertwine with someone, they are a mirror of you in different ways, and that could be positive or negative. But in a healthy relationship, that person feels you on a different level that your girlfriend, your guy friend is not going to be able to know, especially when it comes to those intimate spaces in yourself where you might just don't want to talk. You might not want to have the words to say, but there's just times when I'm like, what's up? What's going on? I felt something today. And the whole time it's a big thing going on. You know, those are some sacred moments where you just can't sleep on that. So, you know, you can attract such a special best friend. Like, I wish there was a better word for it. I guess soulmate, whatever. But it's that confidant. That's something, it's just a little extra, you know, bonus to your friends.
And I'm going to add on to what she said. Keep in mind that, like she said, soulmate, twin soulmate, whatever you want to call it, they're always going to be a reflection of you. Every relationship you got is always a reflection of what you're doing in your life. Understand that that person is going to reflect exactly what the work that you're doing within yourself. So if you want to be more open, you have to create that space for that person to be open so that you can feel open. If you want security, you have to build security within yourself so that they can build security. It's always a mirroring thing going on. And that's in life with everything. Everything's a mirror. There's never this person did that, and there's no pointing fingers. It's always a mirror with every single thing, all the time.
I'm glad that I found you. I'm glad you found me. You actually found me first. I'm glad that we found each other. I'm glad that, you know, we stuck to what we knew we needed for ourselves individually, and it just meshed, and it works, and we're committed to it every day. Thank you for being my best friend. Bet you better not. Hey, don't do that.
I just want to just thank you for just walking, like taking the time to be patient with me. It's just through each step you've just been there, like consistently, not bullshitting me, not faking out on me, but just your love was so unconditional, just being there. And you taught me to just trust myself, you know, like be more confident in what I believe, and like just being there, being yourself, and just being able to share that love, because you got so much love to share outside of me and you, but you know, in your own household as it is, and you know, being able to just give that space, create that space to still love me and share that love and share that time that you almost don't have. It's like, I value that, and I just want to thank you for just being yourself and just holding my hand throughout the way, each and every single step you held my hand, and just talk me through all my heart. This year was hard for me, and you just talked me through it and got me through it. Those mental spaces, those spiritual, you know, spaces where I became like, I almost doubted myself, almost like, what am I going to do? I don't know what to expect next in my life. And you always gave me that hope to like, hold on, like you're almost there, like just keep going. And I took that and I ran with it, like, all right. You know, if she say everything gonna be all right, everything gonna be all right. I'm just overthinking too much. Stop in my head a lot, you know. And so
I just reminded you of who you was,
right.
who I see.
And that's what I appreciate. You know, it's like the more I talk to you, the more I see myself, and what I can have if I just be myself. You know, and believe in myself and what I can have, what I can attain, that power I can attain. And not just power as in being dominant with somebody, but power and just being true to who I am, spiritual. And seeing the results of what happens when you do that and what manifests when you stay true to yourself. And it's been working ever since. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You're such a beautiful person. I just want you to be that all the time, wherever you go.